Today we're gonna try some new things. And yeah, those of you guys who have been watching actually a few past streams, we have been just gaming and playing the hydrofoil simulation. But today we're gonna try a watch party. So let's watch some sailing. Hi Ben, hi Ben J9029. Um, so we got all the setup over here. Um, we have the videos. I have my notes about interesting matches that I picked up for us to watch today. We got the rule book. We got our models here, and yeah, let's go ahead. So, trying also new things today. I'm streaming to Twitch, Kick. Something is wrong. I think it's not streaming to Facebook, but well, I guess I don't just have much followers there, so if somebody wants to see it on the Facebook, yeah, just let me know. Should be also coming to the Instagram, so of course let me know if there is somewhere some problem. So I haven't been streaming yet to Instagram. Yeah, so let's jump to it and then see some interesting match racing. Um, this is World Match Race Tour. We got on the day two interesting match between Gavin Brady. No, sorry, actually this is a different one. I think we're gonna go now to the next match, which is between Chris Poole and Pauline Courtois. So yeah, let's let's get to see it. Yeah, that's the one. There is an interesting one. So normally I would not be maybe just discussing too much of the details of the maybe I'm not going to go to the very basics. What is match race? I think I'm kind of more interested in the interesting matches and interesting situations. But then yeah, like maybe in between, I'm gonna just try to give some basics. So I think it's gonna be mostly advanced, and but maybe a little bit of basics we just try to cover. There we go. Let's see. What do we have here? Nope. Sorry. I think I want to make it so that it would be a little bit. Just let me know if this is better now. I think this is a probably this is a good setup. I think the full that's the best one, I think. There we go. Yeah, let's. I think we have Chris Paul. I think which is interesting about this match, it's actually Chris Paul is ranked number one in the world at the moment, world ranking, and I think Pauline Courtois is number one in world in actually women's rankings. So I think these are quite tight competitors. So I believe there is no time countdown, but I think because they're gating right now, so it's about 4 minutes to the start. Yeah, there we go. We have a countdown now in the left screen. So Pauline is coming on starboard, yellow boat, and trying actually to prevent Chris from crossing. Chris is not crossing, so choosing to luff up and tack. So Chris is tacking boat still, tacking, but it was a choice of Pauline to avoid. And now we have a typical like match race situation, lured dial up, leeward and starboard, so leeward and windward, sorry. As you can see, the umpires are going around here, positioning themselves. Okay, so now they chose, I think Pauline chose to tuck away because basically that's her choice. And now we have 3 minutes, a lot of time to kill. So Pauline over here in the yellow boat, uh, ahead right, and now she elects to jibe, I think, because the wind is light, so basically the boat is wants to take the position back to the start, so it just goes behind and then tries to keep astern. So you see that the Chris in this boat is not giving back. Okay, focusing now the starboard, changing the course. They cannot reach the port boat and changing the course. So, and now Chris is astern. 2 minutes 30 to start. I think there was probably about 30 seconds to the start line. So a lot to kill. Pauline's jibing, jibe complete. and now Pauline starboard right of way. And Chris is already taking the windward position, so or actually changing the direction of the spin. And Pauline is still bored, but very close, still keeping clear and still jibing and now complete. So now you see that there is a protest on Chris' boat. So from this angle, it was not maybe very clear if uh, Chris had to take an avoiding action, but I think it was potentially green green flagged by the umpires. Yeah, there seems to be no protest, so the umpires decided that it was no need to for for Chris to take avoiding action. So obviously, you know, it looks always very different from the drone. Now, 1 minute 20 to start, and the boat already is gonna go back to finish to start. Right. So Chris is trying with the boat ahead, trying to already just to get in the position to start to throw bad wind. Pauline is going for the hook, still astern, give way, barely an overlap there, but still it's swing and miss, but very barely an overlap, and Chris is keeping clear. Chris ahead is changing course, trying to changing, giving room. Now there is a clear overlap. Pauline is closing the way, and now is Chris is still keeping clear. Okay, 30 seconds, still a lot of time to kill. Chris is tacking 30 seconds. What would he do? He's gonna tack probably, or actually there is a yeah. What is the so okay? They're starting on port, so obviously now Chris gonna start. Pauline establishes overlap, gives the room for Chris to keep clear. I think there's a protest on the Pauline's boat. And now the start umpires greened this. And now, as you see, there was a blue flag over here on the race committee, which means that the blue boat was over the line. Now Chris had to go back and dip behind the line over here. Listen, there was in the pre-start, I think it was close, but there was not any really interesting situation, which I would say that is worth discussing. So I think we're just gonna go and continue watching this match. So now this match is switching to the next one. It is interesting, but I would like just to skip forward to the continuation of the same match that we were talking about. So pre-start was fairly the couple of protests, but fairly uneventful for it. So now we're gonna skip through the pre-start of this, and hopefully after this one we're gonna go back to the yes. So this is now we're gonna go back. As you can see, we are now back to this Chris Poole and Pauline Courtois. So just to set the context where we are, so they are on the downwind leg. So it's a belief they're probably then the first downwind. Um, yes, so Pauline and this is Chris. Windward boats. They're both on the port tack. Probably after rounding the mark, so not sure how they got here, but let's see. I think it gets pretty interesting now from here. Okay, so here we go. So Chris is now throwing a jibe, and he's becoming a starboard right of way. And Pauline Sport is laughing, and then Pauline is avoiding, getting very close. As you can see, very close to the contact. Pauline is protesting here. So okay, very quickly, let's see what happened here. Both boats going downwind. Who is who? So Pauline was. Hold on a second. I think I need to check if the if it's coming there. Oh yeah, that's also just wanted to double check that there is also streaming going to the TikTok, and I think if there is any comments there, will be also watching. So anyway, um, what do we have? Pauline here, and Chris is in the blue boat here. Wind is coming here, downwind. Now, Chris is first. His Pauline is right of way, leeward boat. This is windward boat, give way. Then, while he jibes, he becomes a starboard, and this is port, keep clear. Because this one boat acquired right of way, they need to give room for this boat to keep clear. So this is rule 15. And then after that one, they start to alter, change the course, come up. So rule 16 need to give way. So while actually blue is getting into the very strong position as a right of way, then it still needs to give way for this boat to keep clear. And then as they luff, they come very, very close to the contact. I did not see the contact over there, but it was super close. So I think the yellow boat now protests and then says that they were not giving room to keep clear. And I think this boat uh, maybe would protest if they would protest that yellow did not keep clear. Okay, let's see what the umpires say over here. For sure, very, very close. Okay, I don't see any disappointment from the boat, so it means that it was probably a green. Was there even whistle right now? Probably it was a green flag. Okay, there we go. This is now a classic match race. We are going to the downwind jail. So downwind jail is the situation which is actually really works only in the match race because there is a certain change in the rules. So how do we what is the downwind jail? Let's maybe even just explain over here. Now, both boats are on the starboard going over here, and then the rounding mark is over here that they need to go and round this way. As the boat's going over there, this boat wants to go here, obviously, but in order to do that one, they need to jibe and then they will become port give way. This would be a starboard. So that way blue in this situation is fully controlling yellow. So, and then that's why they're just, this is called downwind jail. What is different from the fleet race? In fleet race, there is what is called this rule 17. I'm not going to go too much in the details of it. You can actually check in the rule book here. Where is that? Those of you who want just to read, go ahead. But basically, it says that it basically for when it kind of forces, sort to say, quote unquote, the blue boat to jibe away on the ley line if they're overlapped. So it means that, but in match race it's deleted. So basically now this is the downwind jail. There is really no very good escape for the yellow except sail lower and sail faster and to be able to jibe away. So now it's gonna play out very interesting. Let's see if it's gonna work. So yeah, so as you can see, basically boat over here ahead, Pauline's trying to sail as low as possible, uh, like just going lower and lower and lower, but still they need to keep speed. The boat, actually, if you go really low, it will be, um, you will slow down. So there is a protest over here on Chris's boat. As you see, they go even low that they try to keep the boom from actually turning, so they're really soaking down. So now they're going there just as you see the distance between both is very, very close. Now, what happened over here? As they were going low, low, Pauline just uh, jibed now here to the um, hold on a second. Why it's actually I have a technical problem here, I think. Stream has just stopped. No, actually everything is okay. It works. So yeah, Pauline just jibed now into port, and now this yellow boat is a port giveaway boat, and this is right of way boat, and they're going really, really low. So what's gonna happen now here? Let's gonna see. So you can see even actually starboard boat over there also jibes because basically they are not sure that this boat, if you jibe or like if they would continue and trying to prove their right in here that they will actually catch them. It's most likely that the port boat will cross. So basically what happened is over here, as we can see, that this yellow boat, Pauline, was able to escape from the downwind jail. How? By just sailing lower and faster, superior boat handling. They were going over here and were able to jibe. And now Chris has nothing to do, nothing, no other things to do, but just to jibe back. And they're going to the mark. Okay, what's happening next? Okay, so now yellow boat is lured, sailing to the mark, trying to sail higher. And this blue boat over here is keeping clear. Lynn is closing the gap, a little bit going higher. But by going higher, this boat is extending before. As you can see, the umpires is straight and back. Very good, as you can see here on the map where they are. That's where they were going to this downwind jail, escape the jail, and now Chris is rolling over. Yeah, it's a pretty good job. Okay, so very nice defended. They're going for a split, so going different marks. Let's see what's the. Yeah, Ben. Umpire gave weird decision on this regatta. Which decision you talking about, or is your comment overall? Any particular decisions? Yeah, let me know. We can also take a look at any match if you think it's good. So now it's upwind. They're going for a split. So as you can see, Pauline is now going to the left, and Chris is going to the right. Okay, Pauline is tags back. Now they're both going this way. Good. Yeah, I think there's now Pauline just bounced the backstay. So because probably the button on the top of the sail was stuck. What else? I think. Let me a little bit. Is there anything in here interesting? Okay. First cross, I think, or the cross, first cross after the on the second upwind. Okay, Chris is crossing ahead. So obviously there was after he rolled, he actually also now gained and crossed ahead in on starboard. So it's a very strong position for Chris Poole. Let's actually see now further how it goes for any interesting situation. Okay, still upwind. Doesn't seem to, okay, again, very close. Now we're looking from a different direction. The wind is coming now from the bottom. Very close call, very close cross. Still the game is close. Pauline, even though she's trailing, she has all the opportunities. Um, yeah, okay. Was overall, so Ben, his overall impression on this regatta. I remember our match, Fulcher team against Engstrom, we jibed downwind with a penalty or us. Okay, hey, so Ben, you actually were racing. Are you on Fulcher team? Pretty cool. Uh, okay, cool. I think it might be interesting. I'll put that one in the list. I don't think I will be able to watch all the interesting ones. Won't be, but I think I will be able just to at least cover a few matches. So take it in the voucher and Strum. Cool. And if you're in bench, if you are in in the strong team, are you racing for any other match? Are you going to Viking Cup and Bedan and on the next week? Let me know if you're going there. Okay, let's continue now. So now we are okay. Where? Cool. So Pauline is now quite back, trailing back. They are both on the port, trailing back, a big distance. Um, Now let's see. I remember, yeah, as you can see, this is a really good. Now the graphic over here, they're going on port. Seems that Chris can very easily jibe to starboard and go back. So what does Pauline need to do? So tactically, need to find a really good path and potentially just jibe into that path. So if there is something on their middle or on the right over here, and then they jibe, that would be a really good. Okay, now not sure what's happening now with Paul. Is this such a big shift, or is there as a path? So I think yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what happened over here. Maybe it was a Oh, okay. Yeah, now it explains. Chris is now going with the butterfly just to get the inner position over here, which is he has been doing it quite a while ago. Okay, so Benji, you're gonna be in Viking Cup. Come and say hi. I will be umpire on the both on the Viking Cup and be done. So flying to France on Friday. Yeah, so we're gonna see you there. Really nice event. Hope it's not too cold. Um, what do we have over here? As far as I remember, it was something interesting also happened over here. So yes, Pauline is actually difficult to say why, but she probably gets some kind of like a first breeze. And as you can see, she's actually has a possibility to roll. Yes, Benj, really good. We'll see you there. Uh, We'll see actually what you bench has to say then about the calls on that event. Really happy to look for your input and feedback. Very so now this is a really interesting situation actually. What's I think let me go back to explain now what's happening. So Pauline is now starting to roll over Chris. So she's having a bit better speed, possibly even covered him at certain points. So Chris is slow. However, so for the Pauline as you can see, their course is not taking them to the finish. Chris is actually a leeward boat, which is right of way, so they have a control. They can actually make also, if they can reach, they can have Pauline reach it, which is super interesting over here. I think if we go even back a little bit more, I think you can see that Chris has actually hoisted the jib super early. So I think he was already expecting actually this fight. So I think this is a really nice, interesting anticipation. So as you can see, even now, Pauline is still astern. Chris's jeep down. It's already coming up. I don't believe they had a penalty, so I think it was bench bring a jacket. Yeah, I think I need to bring many jackets actually to the Bedan. I've been going there in December, actually quite a few years. I think the first time was even before COVID. Yeah, It's cold, but really, really good event. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think French match racing is events are always been very, very good. Okay, there we go. So this is actually was quite interesting that Chris was either already anticipating the game over here. They probably see a path that they already over here hoisted the jib even before, like it was clear that Pauline is taking them over. Now Chris is going over here with the jib up. I think already Pauline also has it partially hosted, but not like full. And I think actually Chris had it is probably really nicely full hosted. So back to the situation, what's happening over here. Now Chris is fully in control and he can, there is no rule 17 in match racing. He can completely luff and make Pauline go over there, and then Chris can then finish. However, there is this thing which is called like zone around the mark, and if they both, or at least even Chris, would get into the zone and will be overlap, so Pauline will have possibility to jibe and go there. She will have a mark room, what do we call it there? She will have a right to actually jibe and sail her proper course. So the rule of the game, Chris wants to love Pauline, not to let her go in the zone. Pauline wants to extend forward so that she can soak into the zone as either the first or there. Okay, let's see how it plays out. So Pauline is actually quite on this graphic is quite nah, yeah, I think it's GPS which is not there. Very good. So there is a big laugh from Chris, but he doesn't need to get too aggressive. The only thing is he just need to make sure that Pauline is not really getting into the zone. So now here is the call for the umpires. Okay, he loves make sure that the Pauline, and that's also the key over here is that he needs to. He basically what he did, he laughed as soon as Pauline's spinnaker stops drawing and filled, he needs to give room for her to drop. He does, very good. And now after these things, he can start to laugh as much as he as he wants. So now he kept it there. So now very interesting, and I think here that's what it happened. Okay, as you see, what do you think? Who's gonna get the penalty now? Let's watch it once again. Pauline has in yellow boat here has a lot of speed, but Chris is slow. P12. So you wanted to open the call book bench. Yeah, we can go to that one. Okay, going, and then so I think there was we're gonna see what would be the call over here, but I think I don't see there was much change. Obviously, again, I'm not in the position of that the umpires can see, but there was not really much change on the. There was a change on the course for the for Ben, but basically Pauline puts herself really so close. So and then so now she tacks away, and I think Chris very let's see. Let's see what would be the umpire call. So anyway, I think it's also, I think they don't, yeah, Chris is showing that there is no overlap, is clear ahead. So as you can see that also in a way over here that Chris is did not have to get too aggressive even because he was still in full control of the position. So now B12. Yes, let's look at that one. So, call book, match racing call book. B12. This is no. Did you mean these things? Okay, Benji. Yeah, see you at the event. Okay, I'm actually not sure if you meant this one, but anyway, we're gonna look at this at this later. But basically, let's look at things what happened over here. Pauline was yellow. This is the finish line over here, as you can see. Um, then Pauline was rolling over, was hoping just to get to the finish, but Chris hoisted the jib over here on the blue boat, went really like went for the good went for the luff. Then they both dropped the spinnakers. Obviously, it was super light wind. The boats just basically stopped. They were very slow, and I think because this boat was stalled, I think Pauline had thought that she has an opportunity to use her speed and maybe actually just really use the fact that this boat is stalled, that she can just really jump over and go forward. But what happened is that Chris started to get the speed, and Pauline actually got this over here, and then she realized she is not crossing, and but she went up. So it was very also possible that there could have been a penalty also on the yellow boat, but I think there was at the end there was a change of the course in the blue boat, which basically helped yellow to escape that, so that or to avoid the penalty, because every time the blue boat changes the course, it needs to keep clear. Now and then after that one, they left Pauline that she had to tack, they jibed and finished before. That was the match. I thought was quite interesting. I think considering out of the first for couple of events, I think it was pretty good. Um, okay, let's maybe watch one more. What do I have here? Day three, Poole Williams. I think for some reason, oh, that should be nice. That should be nice. Day three. Let's go. So that's gonna be with Poole, who is Chris Poole, who is number one ranked in the world, and Williams, who was 7 times world champion in match racing and now became 8-time world champion. And actually, spoiler alert, he won this event also. So that's he's and this event was just world level. So it was pretty good. So where we are, somewhere at the end, Poole Williams. Let's find it. Yeah, that should be it. Get it. Let's. Ah, okay. I believe. Okay, so this is already match one. So okay, Brady Attili. This is not our match. We're gonna skip it. So as you can see, the matches I usually go one after another after the match one has started. So as you see the countdown in the left corner, then there is a pre-start procedure for the other match. So you see now this Brady Attili match is starting. Yeah, that's it. Paul Williams and Chris Paul and Ian Williams. This says 9-0, that it's already Williams won nine matches before, and Paul is, as you see, kind of like he's on the 50-50 territory. There we go. Don't see the countdown, so I believe we're somewhere between 5 and 4 minutes to go. Let's see. Okay, now there is a signal. Probably that was 4 minutes. Um, as you know, this is a good shot. As you can see here, who's the blue here? I think it's Poole, Chris Poole, I think. I think here is blue, Chris Poole, and then this is Williams in yellow. So port starboard. And that's, let's see if this boat is trying actually as a port, trying to cross, and this as a starboard boat, trying to prevent this boat from crossing. So as you can see, Poole doesn't think he's crossing, he is luffing up, but as he is luffing, tacking giveaway boat, and now is wants to complete, but he wants to complete as close, as late as possible. Um, Williams is taking the windward position. So Williams is windward, give way, but I think in this wind, what he tries to do is actually just have a really speed. So now this is a really interesting situation. Both boats protest. So I think what probably is again very difficult to see what was the situation, but I think yellow boat over here, let me show it on the big screen, is this is Ian Williams that we saw it more on the screen, that is just trying to um, they were trying to move the boat, and I think they basically came over here, and as a windward boat, they needed to keep clear. However, I think the point is there. I think the point of view of yellow boat that actually blue boat was changing the course and potentially even started to maybe even to tack, which is tacking boat needs to give clear. Again, from this angle is very difficult to see, so we'll have to trust on the umpire's decisions, which are over here. Yeah, because you see as the creases just now went to tack, so it's very easily to see that they were potentially attacking both. Um, by the reaction of Ian Williams, I think it's actually yellow. Yeah, as you can see, yellow in the umpire. So I think they actually called that it was the fault of the yellow boat, which came too close as the windward boat and was not keeping clear. And then the change of the course is actually was not like oh, so they basically did not they were in tacking boat and they did not, and while they were changing the course they gave this boat room to keep clear, but it was their basically choice to come so close and infringe penalty. So yeah, that's basically, I think, what was the umpire call. So you can see that it's actually now interesting situation that Ian Williams is now going to be starting with one penalty, and I believe that that's going to be actually playing out very interestingly. So 2 minutes, some time to kill. Um, some time to kill, but basically it's very light wind, so I think the boats will start to go a little bit more early. So blue boat is now lured right, and yes, and I think this boat is now ahead right. Tacking, this is tacking give and starboard right, and then this boat is, yes, Ilian is tacking boat, tacking in the pushing position, so they're attacking it to be able to attack. Let's see now what happens next. Okay, 1 minute 20. I believe it's probably something would be about 40 seconds to the start, so there is a time to kill, definitely. The boats are very slow. Usually this type of matches very often end up in a split start. I don't remember, but it's very often that they might actually end up in a split start with Ian getting the right and Chris is getting left. Yes, as you can see, they're very close to starting line over here, but still 50 seconds to the start, so a lot of time to burn. So Chris will, sorry, Ian Williams will find the time when they will start pushing. And here comes the, I believe this starts the push now. Where is the, don't see. difficult to see. Okay, now you can see this is a starting line. And the last seconds, I think he's barely like making it there. But anyway, I think Ian started with a little bit, yeah, in a bit better position because he's a little bit kind of good acceleration, a good start, and Chris was pulled into the actually corner, so he had to a little bit wiggle around the pin, so he had to just go around. Okay, I think that match was I marked it as quite interesting, so I'm gonna skip now the how's that? So Benji, for the one who dropped, so that he said that that was a interesting match to watch. So I will add it in my list. Foucher and AEJ. Okay, but for now, let's keep it. I'm gonna get back now to the Ian. Yes, that one. Okay. So this is basically we already see over here. They're in the middle of the action. So maybe we need to go frame by frame now over here because of the situation. So let's see. Okay, there we go. So Ian here on the first downwind port, and then windward boat Chris with their kite flying already pretty far from the boat. Is that his kite over here? I think pulling it. Anyway, windward boat, Chris's windward boat give way. So I think this has to be like that blue, yellow. There we go. Let's see. Okay, there's a probably definitely well not probably but definitely there's a contact with a spinnaker. I think it really looked like the spinnaker of the blue boat over here. Their clue was, I think this is the clue over here. It's not in the not on the bowsprit. I think yeah, that's the bowsprit and that's the spinnaker. So it's really all the way out. So I think also if you're a windward boat, you and giveaway boat, you need to keep all your stuff, you know, tidy. That's not the reason. Okay, now of course there is of course Chris is now trying to prove the point that this boat has changed the course and that's why they did not give them clear. And Ian is saying basically windward boat blue is not keeping clear. Okay, yeah, think also considering again the reaction by Chris and Ian, I think it seems to be that again, I don't see what was the call over there, but there was actually basically a change of the course on the yellow boat, and but this boat had to keep clear, and they were already. Oh, I think I think I also love this moment. I really in the Chris boat. I think they have a really good, nice dynamic between the main trim and Chris. Chris is just trying to say like some to prove the points, and now watch the main trimmer. Chris is just point. He's like, chill, chill, and then tapping on the shoulder, Chris, and then sort of let's go. And that has been actually I noticed in this event several times. Okay, so I think what happened probably over here, what I think again very difficult just to imagine when you don't see it, but I think after this incident, it's very possible that I think how it looks to me, not seeing umpire, but maybe the umpire said that by this change of the course, Ian did not give room for blue boat to keep clear. So, but because they already had one penalty, so that was a second penalty. And now, as they were going over here, I believe that Chris was actually trying to make a point, that yeah, Philip, indeed, laughing. Uh, it's a classic match race. So so yeah, what happened is that basically he was trying to shout over there, like, come on, like they're not taking penalty, or it takes them a long time to drop the spinnaker and take the penalty. On the on the blue boat, the main trimmers says like, keep calm, we're sailing, we're ahead. They have two penalties. Like you don't need to prove anything to the umpires. Let's keep on sailing. But what happens over here is that I think now um, Ian was taking the penalty, and then there's still a stern with probably one penalty. So I believe here that's what happens. There would be otherwise no reason for yes, very good. As you can see over here, after this love, Chris jibed, and that's the point. As you can see, it took a so long time for Ian after that situation, which probably happened somewhere over here, to sail over here and start taking the second penalty. I think that was the whole kind of point over there. But that's an interesting point now. Like, see what is their situation, what's their position. I think for one reason or another, delaying that penalty, if it was delaying or not, helped Ian actually just to go much lower and faster. And I think he's actually in a pretty good position. So now, with one, even after they did the penalty turn, they are actually in a very advantageous position. They're still quite ahead. So now they're gonna be doing their port, Ian Williamson port. They need to keep clear, but it's still very strong position. And I believe Ian still have one penalty to shed. Maybe also sometimes this GPS tracker. Good. Here you have a port starboard. Yeah, and that's where also I think there was a point by probably Chris, that there was a contact between the spinnakers. As you can see that the camera on the back is now like, twisted 90 degrees. I think these things don't happen just by itself. I think this is because of the contact with the spinnaker. So what happened is that yellow boat was probably crossing blue over here and trying to cross them on the back, and possibly the spinnaker clipped the camera, which is over here. My speculations, it was not seen, but very possible that what happened. Okay, you have to watch and then he makes this yes, he makes a gesture like that. This is a kind of gesture between umpires that it was a contact. There was a contact. So Chris is trying to make the points, and I think from camera you can see that there was a contact probably. But if umpires did not see, you cannot do anything. You cannot assume. Okay. Now, very interesting that again, I think there was a chance, of course, for Ian to get another penalty, but he did not. I think he's still astern with one penalty and Chris ahead. And this is only first downwind. I think it's only gonna get interesting now from here. Anyway, if any questions or anything about the rules or anything, let me know over here. We can go in any particular situation now. Both are coming into the downwind. I believe I hear the several repetitive whistles, so it means that the upwind mark has been shifted and changed, which means that probably it's also very possible now that one of the boats, I don't know what was the change to the right or to the left, but it's very possible that one of the boats might get a really advantage because of the shift. If it was, for example, big right shift, I think the boat was going around the 4P, which is right shift, will get a better advantage. Okay, let's see. Both now sailing upwind. I think the wind picked up. I remember that was the day when it started, I think a little bit light, but I think now you can see all the crews are already in almost full hike mode. But basically now, if we can believe this tracker, I think Ian has a good position, so which means that he might be even able to cross. And again, I think the tracker was not all the time updated at this event, so it's hard to say if they're going to that 1R or will go somewhere else. And now starboard right of way, uh, they're hiking and trying again full speed. And I think they might be going into the cross. Chris is port, giveaway boat. Now they decide to tack because they basically, their tactics is that they see that they cannot leave bow Ian. So if you cannot leave bow, you will tack better right to tack early and then go and find another maybe shift or something like that that gets you in a game. Because if you cannot leave bow, you're already going behind the other boat. Now, yeah, I think that was the race when actually one of the out of this robotic automatic mark started to drift, and then they. So yeah, you can see that some of the probably race committee right behind over here is fighting or doing something, trying to catch the robotic mark, the getaway one. So as you can see again over here, so that choice of Chris to tack and to be over here might be really potentially good. It still kind of keeps them even. And now what comes over here? Oh, I think if I remember, that was a really potentially interesting one. No. Okay, so now basically Chris is taking knows that he cannot cross over here, and then Ian tacks, even though that they're starboard, but they tack away back to port, so just to protect the right side, because the right side allows you to come as an inside boat. As you can see, the umpires still have yellow flag, which means that this boat, which is ahead, Ian is leading, but it has a penalty. So excellent show, excellent match. Boat ahead, having a penalty, which means that they need to do something before the end of the before they finish, before the end of the match. Um, okay, still basically continues. I think it was probably, if it was shifting over here, I think if they change the mark, if they change the mark because the robotic mark got away, okay, maybe then it's not that much shifty, but I think when it picks up wind, it maybe brings some extra shifts. And now Ian attacks to starboard. Okay, this actually was an interesting one. So I believe that this is the new mark. So Ian has tacked and he is on the ley line, so he can go around the mark and finish. And I think basically, I think Chris just needs to will approach that one on the port and needs to round. But what watch what happens next. That's what makes match races match race. So you don't do which was things just that is normal. Okay. Ian slows down and goes for attack. Already protesting over there. Okay. I think this actually there is a several layers over here that were worth to discuss. So this is upwind mark. Who's who? Chris is gonna be blue and they come over here. Ian, because he has a penalty, he needs to do something, because if they go like that, they won't have time to take the penalty, and if they continue in the same position with Chris being right behind them, as they will still turning the penalty, Chris will finish and they lose the match. He needs to do something to, so what kind of tactics he has in mind? He slows down over here and finds the good way to attack. So he basically dials down them and then tries, it's either makes them to do two tacks, because if they come over here, he needs to do one tack, two tack, which potentially might help Ian either to get more distance, which probably will not be enough. There will be not enough distance, or will potentially get them to, yeah, potentially get them a penalty. So now they're getting for this port starboard situation. In match race, there is also a rule, nowadays a rule, before that one is a call, which says that this boat cannot go lower than 90 degrees when it dials the dial down. But let's see this dial down. As you can see, now Ian is pointing, Chris is pointing above, so his way of escaping is to either kind of sail high or tack away. And Ian is executing it perfectly. He is keeping its course for keeping it and keeping it and keeping it, and now making an avoiding action. So what he wants to prove to the umpires that he established collision course now, and now he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was holding the course for 5 and something seconds. So he wants to prove the point that to the umpires that he's holding the course over here, and the blue boat had a lot of time to escape. So, okay, that's goes over here. However, there is a very interesting aspect which was over here that needs to be discussed. And I think if you're just match racer, I think you definitely need to know. So if we hold on a second. So if we go to the rule book in the match racing appendix, where is the appendix C? Get there. B, C. There's own rules for mark rounding. Okay. There's a rule 18.3 in match racing, and basically says when it has a very long description over here, but basically I think how it's often used, that it was actually created in the America's Cup first, when there was the super fast boats coming on this rounding of the mark, and then they wanted to invent the rule which would actually somehow force this boat to tack and go around the mark, instead of actually on the high speed trying to hunt this boat. So they wanted them just to go orderly around the mark over here. And they created, basically the rule designers created the rule that if how it says, inside overlapped, and in match race you can be overlapped also even on the upwind, it's not on the fleet race, but inside overlap right of way, so this is boat, They need to go inside. They are overlapped in match race. They are right of way because they are starboard. They need to change the tack here uh, to of to sail her proper course until until she changed the tack. She cannot like affect the course of this boat. So she cannot basically sail farther from the mark that is proper course. And proper course would be for this boat to go here. So this is means that you are sailing farther from the proper course. But very often people forget that actually doing this thing is sailing farther from the proper course. So what's interesting now over here is that if we look at this situation, so Ian is now 2 boat lengths. He's just, I think, just barely entered the zone. And now, as a right of way inside overlapped boat, he cannot sail farther from the proper course. But obviously, I think there's two aspects that this rule stops applying right about now when they get out of the zone. Rule 18 now doesn't apply from over here. So that means that that rule, if all of this situation, which was here, happened closer to the mark, I think there would be also potentially to have a penalty on Ilium for breaking that rule. But because now it's outside the zone, rule 18 is not working. And because when the rule 18 was applying, when this boat was really far and this one was in the zone, as you can see over here, the boat will be exonerated for breaking this rule if a course of another boat was not affected. So yes, Ian broke that rule. He sailed further from the mark, but he was not influencing at that boat, a course of this boat yet. And then he got out of the zone, and then this rule was not broken. So first he was exonerated for breaking that rule, but then he was not affected. And then after he got out of the zone, it was port starboard. And as you can see, port starboard, Ian was keeping, he was already keeping for a couple of seconds, but even from here, it would be when he got out of the zone, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he takes avoiding actions. He had plenty of space for Chris to avoid. Let's see now what's happening with the decisions of umpires. So I don't see what's the decision of the umpire over there, but just considering that Ian is again setting the trap over here, that must be that the yellow flag is still there. So for one reason or another, difficult to see, is that I think they greened that previous call. So I think, of course, they might have seen something else. Though, of course, you need to consider the boat and the wind and conditions. So umpires made a call that there was no penalty broken. There was no rule broken, no penalty. So Ian is then, let's see, make it bigger. Ian is now setting the trap. So now Ian was the first one entered the zone. Ian has mark room, so they can go around the mark. And Chris is basically, you know, he doesn't have much room. So if you're gonna go on the windward, Ian will control him. But if he will try to sneak inside, Ian will claim their mark room and will get the penalty on Chris. So now it's about handling and patience. Okay, Ian is right of, actually he's now lured right of way, so it's still in the zone, has the markham. So exactly now you see what just basically happened is that there was no, so that over here you can, yeah, over here is that when Ian set up the trap, who is here? Ian is yellow. He set up the trap. So on either of the sides, if Chris goes, he's going into the trap. If he's gonna go here and try to block him, if he goes over here, he's controlling them because this is a windward boat, keep clear. Okay, what's gonna happen next? Chris, Chris is starting to slide slowly, slowly towards Ian. Ian is trying to keep the course, not to change, so to actually not to invoke rule 16 on him. So Ian is lured right of way. Chris is windward. And now what happens? Yeah, Ian just need to be patient, patient until there's a light touch. And now they will protest. There is a, was there? There was no Yankee. There's actually, I think, I think Ian had already like a Yankee mode. The flag is already in the permanent protest mode. Um, I think probably both boats over here thought that there might be a really risk on them, and they didn't want to give the decision to the umpires. That's the whole thing, is that they still want to actually not to risk it, but get into the control. Okay, now Ian is right. I thought that actually now there is two flags over here. I maybe there was a Yankee somewhere. I did not see. This is interesting station. But anyway, they penalize the blue boat over here, which is definitely if there would be, if I would see Yankee, I would definitely also in this situation penalize blue, or at least it would be a very strong case because yellow was really keeping their course, was not changing the course, and it was eventually the blue was drifting, 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 and that's the, and they had the, apologies, had the room to avoid the collision by basically early trimming in the sails, sail away and tacking. They had all the room in the, okay, but now there is basically both penalties are cancelled and they go for hoist. Ian is ahead right of way boat. Chris astern, give way boat. They're keeping clear, but still it's close. It's close and there might be something happening. I think it's all then depends again how this play out after they jibe. Chris is closing the distance. Still astern, give way boat. So next move would be for boats to jibe. So most likely, still the camera is on the side, showing that there might have been a contact between the boats. Um, Ian is ahead of right of way boat, trying to go low and fast. And then Chris is closing the gap. Astern give way both, but after they jibe, now we go for the Simo jibe. This is also for windward boat to start covering the wind, but Ian is sailing higher to actually keep his apparent wind ahead of the other boat. But as you say over here, because now they are going above the the course. Oh, there is even definitely there is a rip in the spinnaker, so there might have been a contact. Um, yeah, yellow boat over here is in the controlling position, definitely as a leeward boat going over here. But as you see in this angle, they're not going yet to finish. They need both to jibe, and I think also Chris is seems to be not going to be able to roll over Ian. Doesn't seem to be, so he might initiate some jibe play. Ah, okay. What Chris is doing over here, he goes astern in the butterfly mode, so he can go lower and get the position where he would be able to cover the wind. So now he actually went lower and but still keeping a good VMG. Um, but this is overall better VMG to start sailing this way, but it's gonna be probably quite close finish. Yeah, very close. Yeah, unfinished. I think that was an interesting one. I think there was a number of interesting play. I think the traps set on the top mark. There was a number of the penalties. I think it was quite eventful. Yeah, if you have any questions for the for what was the calls or what was the rules, I think let me know. So I'm happy to go through. But that was quite an eventful one. Okay, so this should we watch? Let me see how many I have. I have one. I'll probably show one more match, and then I will watch. We'll look for another match, which is again Chris Poole. So we're gonna have actually today three matches for the Chris Poole. So must be an interesting one. So and then I will leave maybe the other four for the next week. Okay, what is this one? It's the day three at the end. Okay. Uh, day three end. Poole and Rocco, Attili, Chris and Rocco, Attili. Okay, Brady, Kevin and EJ. That's the one. Okay, that's gonna be the last one for today. We're gonna analyze. So Rocco Attili from Italy and Chris, USA. Okay, that's the last one. Let's watch. Again, probably now about 5 minutes to start. Rocco will be on the blue boat coming from port. So into the gating scenario, they will be coming as a port boat, and this yellow boat will be coming as a starboard boat. There we go. We are now about gating, so it's about 4 minutes to start. Let's see. Yeah, this is a perfect diagram over here, just to see how they're both gating, and this is how the start goes. At 4 minutes, they just need to be at as close as possible, but not inside. 3 minutes, there we go. Rocco is port, give way boat, trying to cross, not able to cross. It will be a dial-up, laughing, coming up, still like laughing. Chris is changing the course, giving room, and I think now just fishing for the protest. So maybe they're gonna get it, but they were changing the course, and it seems to be slightly wavy and windy, so I think it's maybe a little bit difficult just to keep the boats in the dial-up. So Chris is basically choosing to avoid and tack to port and go down this. Oh, okay. So it looks that I think by the reaction of Rocco, I think he's not happy about the penalty. So what probably happened over here is that the blue boat in the match race, when they do the after they do the dial up, blue boat is port giveaway boat. They want after that one they attack giveaway boat, and by doing coming to close hold, they will acquire the right of way, being actually either ahead or leeward. But once they do it, they will actually most likely, because if they're coming over here and then they will do it this way, like that, they will open up the gap, which means that the yellow will have a significant gap, and as a windward boat, they will be able to keep clear. What the blue boat wants to do is actually delay. They want to delay their tack or coming to close hold as long as possible, so that they want to keep this gap small. And I think what comes over here, if we just look at it, um, umpires decided that Rocco actually fouled and that he did not reach his close hold. As you can see over here, he's laughing. He's still not yet tacking because the jib is on this side. I think he's now about tacking boat, and I think now probably somewhere about here he is completed his tack, but Chris already took an avoiding action, and then there's a call over here is that did he had to take this avoiding or not, and did they complete? So it's all about the milliseconds, and I think that's why we have two umpires, basically each one watching each boat on the boat. There we go. So not very enthusiastically showing Yankee flag, uh, but it worked out. They got a penalty on Rocco. I think they even themselves got a little bit of a look to each other and then saying, well, that's good. That's a freebie. Um, yeah, that was a whistle, and Rocco is disappointed. He clearly thinks that he has finished, but this is not that maybe this is all about small judgment call, and of course everybody tries to boat. So Chris is now jibing a starboard right of way, changing course, giving room for another boat to keep clear. And now they are become port, and what they're doing right now, the boats, they're circling, because it's 4 minutes, as you can see, 2 minutes 35 to start, but they're so close to starting line, so they need basically just to kill time. Chris is astern and trying basically just will uh, Chris is happy to be in this situation even until they are late. So, and Rocco is actually wants to initiate the approach earlier. So Rocco is jibing starboard right away. They're changing their course and they're not able to kind of reach. So now, as you can see, it's 2 minutes, and Rocco now stop circling. So he started slowly go back to the start, and Chris took the windward position to Chris tacked instead of jibing. So now the Chris is actually on the small windward boat and attacking, so they can go get the speed and try to hook Rocco and push them over the line or into the no-go zone. 1 minute 30 to start, so there is basically a lot of time to a lot of time to kill here, right? So both boats just need to keep time. I think basically the windward boat, even though that they can start to push, um, Chris can push in this boat, and the yellow boat can push the blue boat over, but they don't want to engage it until it's just the right time. I think they want to get the attack at the right time, and very possible Chris wants to have right also, so he's possibly will be happy to push at the last moment and get the right. Also remember that actually there's a penalty, one more already penalty on the blue boat, so there is definitely releases somewhat the pressure from the other boat because they know that as long as they have a decent start, so that's they already have an advantage. As you can see here in the umpire boat, you have a faint blue flag over here. Now Chris is slightly close to the line, 13 seconds. He still goes for, checks the position, 10 seconds, 9 seconds. He goes for the acceleration. And basically just starts. I think he's just happy not to. Very, I think it was very even close to touching the mark. It's difficult to see, but I noticed that in this event there was a little bit of a current. I think it was actually keep on pushing the boats, or there was a really strong drifting of the boats. But at least it didn't look like a drifting. It looks like a current. Okay, we're gonna skip this one from EJ and then get back to. We'll skip that one to the continuation of the match that we started to watch. Really hope that this is okay actually just to stream that one on the Twitch, Kick, TikTok, and now Instagram. I think on the Facebook is coming there. Not gonna probably did not stream to YouTube now because I don't know if I'm gonna get the strike for actually reusing these things, but I think it's a watch party. I think should work on the other panels. If somebody knows about these things, let me know how much of these things can be streamed and not streamed. Um, Listen, I think there was some. I believe there was a continuation of that one. Okay, yes, I remember. That's it. So we're back to actually upwind. Is that the first or second upwind? I skipped so much, so I don't even know. So, but that's where we see actually already the blue boat. They're sailing on port, and blue boat is windward. So they're kind of leading, and they probably still have a penalty. Okay. Chris is the leeward, right of way boat, and Rocco is windward, give way boat, but they're keeping clear, so no rules are broken. They're approaching now to the ley line of the mark. So if they just continue this way, so Rocco will be able to tack and go to the mark as well as throwing the bad wind to them. He's luffing. Oh, okay, so apparently they might be going to the different mark. Maybe that's not. No, actually they're going, seems to be to this mark. So Rocco has the mark room as the inside overlap boat. Now, okay. I believe that that's was the mark over here. That's again very difficult to see, but I believe that what, like in the previous one, the Rocco is just trying to slow down here and set up the trap as the boat who entered in the zone. They have the mark room, so now they are in the control. Um, So Chris is laughing and making them trying just to say that they're not keeping clear. Okay, now basically I think Rocco has decided to attack, but there's a really interesting again situation which I need to pose over here. I think that is not only here. I think in the previous one we looked at this rule in 18.3, and actually this is very often comes to sometimes comes into play in the match race because once they entered like that and the blue boat is the windwards keep clear boat, but they have also the mark room. So if we look at it from the perspective of this rule, the one that I'm showing, is basically only works when the inside is 18.3. You can just open. Don't know if you see it well on the screen, but I'll try. Can I zoom it? Oh yeah, I can. There we go. So this one basically works this way. So you need to be remember we discussed that this rule was invented to force this boat, if it comes this way, to avoid the high-speed collisions on the America's Cup. So they wanted to have some rule which just sort of forces the blue boat to tuck away and avoid the collision once they're going on the high-speed crossing at the mark. And that's why they created this rule, but it doesn't apply in this situation because it applies in here because it's the inside overlapped right-of-way boat which must change the tack. However, in this situation, it's inside overlap, but it's a giveaway boat. It's not right away. So it doesn't work. So it means that they can go as much as they want over here. This is not breaking the rule. It's not forced to go back there. There's an interesting aspect over here is that what happens once yellow crosses head to wind. Of course, yellow becomes giveaway boat, but because this one becomes giveaway boat, they need to keep clear, obviously, of the starboard here. No problem. That's clear. But there is also now this becomes inside overlapped. It was giveaway boat, inside overlap giveaway boat, but after the tack, it becomes inside overlap right of way boat, and she needs to change tack to sail her proper course. So at this moment, if this boat is kind of crossing head to wind, but still keeping clear, this needs to go there. But only thing is that needs to go, she needs just to uh, cross head to wind, and then that rule obligation is done. So anyway, this can set up some trap like that, but basically only thing that this boat can defend by actually crossing head to wind and still controlling it. So let's see what actually now Rocco does. So he tacks away. And if you watched the previous match with me together, I think it's almost like a repeater, isn't it? So he goes lower, but then he traps Chris over here. But now somehow Chris is doing better than he did with Ian. But still now he's getting closer, getting closer. But still keeping clear. Remember, this boat has the penalty, and they actually not interested just to go and finish because actually then you won't be winning the match. So it wants to give the penalty either to this boat or to be able to take its penalty by tacking and going lower. So or by having some other play. Okay, now he laughs. But Chris is keeping clear. So now they're going slow, and this is a match race. So basically, this is like means that it doesn't matter. You don't have to be fast as long as you are actually just finishing ahead of the other boat. So now the boats can actually stand here forever and play the game. I think Chris now doing significantly better than he did with Ian in the previous one, where in previous one you remember that this boat actually started to drift, but now I think they're controlling the bit. Okay, Rocco just gives away and starts to go. Oh, this is not over. I remember that was an interesting one. So now you see, nobody hoists the spinnaker. And I think that's the whole idea is that basically it's again, there is no reason for this boat for Rocco to hoist the spinnaker of the boat because then they hoist the spinnaker and then they will finish just ahead, but they have a penalty, so it means that they don't finish it, and then Chris will win because they're just right behind, and Rocco doesn't have enough room just to keep the penalty. So now he doesn't set the spinnaker, so he's once again to trap. So what he wants to do is to trap to be on the starboard. Now he's on port, Rocco, and now he goes here as a blue boat, but he wants to do so that he will, at certain point, jibes to starboard and will be able to luff. But Chris is also knows this game. He doesn't hoist the spinnaker, and they go behind slowly. But now, as they go down there, they are running out of the real estate. So I think Rocco needs now to do something because he's approaching closer and closer to the finish. Okay, did not see what happened here, but now it seems to be that Chris Poole actually just hoisted the spinnaker and started. Okay, because probably I think what happened is that Rocco has hoisted spinnaker, so Chris responded. It's a match race, you just respond. Ah, no, they did not actually have a spinnaker, so now you see that um, Rocco is actually jibing to starboard, they're right of way, but Chris will just he he basically just tries to cross them. There's a protest, Yankee flag from this boat. I think what really often happens, as in here, I went a little bit back to show, so that usually at this moment or somewhere over here, it's very often that the spinnaker will touch the backstay of the boat, and then will be obviously penalty because this is a right of way. It will be penalty on the yellow boat, but um, and by the enthusiasm over here with showing the flag, he probably means that they think that there was a contact over there. Um, Pointing to the backstay, really trying to make it clear for the umpires that there was a contact. By There was a whistle, and by calm reaction from Chris, I think then the umpires probably did not see that there was a contact or there was no contact. And yeah, now it's a very disappointing, of course, situation because now uh, Chris went over here. Now they jibed and they are ahead. Um, that's it. I think overall, probably this would be the end of the match because now the blue boat still has a penalty and they're astern. But I think this one is also a very good example of how the boat, leading boat with a penalty, will engage into some kind of play, and usually that happens at the last top mark or last downwind. And yeah, I don't think there is anything else happening over here. So, but yeah, basically that brings us, I think, to the end of this. I do have three other interesting matches to show from the World Match Race Tour and Macao Cup, and then I also have some analysis of some interesting situation in the latest Sail GP. So I have a lot of interesting or some more optional situations that we can discuss. So I think I will try to basically at certain point stream. So yeah, let me know also, just also leave, I'll be posting maybe a short excerpts of this video. Let me know again what you want to see, if you want to see more of the rules analysis or tactics or both. I believe I'll try to show those matches maybe on Tuesday, next Tuesday, and um, and yeah, and maybe SailGP later on when I have time. And also we'll be continue streaming the um, gaming and playing the foiling situation. That's it. I think that will call it a day for this one. Leave the comments, leave any notes what you want to see next time. Okay. Thanks also everyone for the some comments and the questions, and to some of Benji. If I don't know if you already dropped in, but we'll see the things. Yeah, Philip. Yeah, thank yeah, thank you, Ilya, for live. Always interesting to listen. You're talking about sailing and rules. Yeah, happy you like it. Very happy to try something else. You know, in winter time there is not really much to do when it comes to sailing, and I think we can try to find some interesting ways to learn about sailing. Yeah, keep on joining the live. We're going to be talking about interesting rules and everything. All right, till the next time then.